garbage time, down 17, try to throw, Packers go and prevent defense. So that's my prediction. The Bucs have the most receiving yards by 71.
I like it.
Okay, Brandon.
Well, then that means we don't get it done. Leonard Fournette, 125 yards on the ground. He needs to get it done there. All right, so what does that mean? The Packers will throw for more. Tom Brady will throw for 200, and you got Aaron Rodgers throwing for 262 yards.
Oh, so 62.
Okay, I'm going to go 262. I'm going to go nice and clean. I'm going to say Packers throw up for 100 more yards than the Bucs. 71, 62, 100. Nice and easy from your old buddy Kevin Wildes. Just 100.
Nice and easy.
Just nice.
All right, well, download the free Fox Super 6 app for your shot to win. As always, it is completely free. Advantage, you. All right, moving on. Time now for a little but first. Kevin Wildes, you love Bills Mafia putting folding tables on watch.
Oh, do I, though, Jenna? Conspiracy theory alert. At Dick's Sporting Goods, in the Bills section, they've got a bunch of tables so you can jump through them at your own home. But hold on a second. I don't know if anyone's been to a dojo recently. They do make breakable stuff that you can put back together. You know, I used to like punch a thing. Now it's just plastic. You punch it, you put it back together. Perhaps Big Table is behind this? We know that the technology is there to make a table that breaks and then can be immediately put back together. Maybe Big Table is putting this stuff out here. Maybe Bill's Mafia was never even meant to jump through a table. But table lobbyists in Washington and Buffalo, table lobbyists in Albany, and at the Dick's Sporting Goods. Just no one's talking about it. Keep your eyes open to what's going on in this world. Big Table.
Save your money, small-time Bills crime syndicate. Oh, hey, the gift that keeps on giving. Kyrie Irving talking about clutch shots. Remember, Kyrie was like, hey, I used to play with this guy named LeBron. He choked in the clutch. It's great to play with a guy like Kevin Durant. So, early in the year, they're playing Charlotte. And Kevin Durant gets an opportunity. Like, yo, Kai, you believed in me. Let me show you. Clang, clang, lost.
That's
all right, so Kyrie Irving's faith wanes a little bit. So the very next time, Kyrie's like, I'm going to take this shot. Clang, clang, and Katie's like, oh, redemption time. Watch this. This is my money shot. Clang, clang. Oh, no. Third time's a charm, though. Last night, first overtime. Oh, that one barely drew iron. So it's now 1, 2, 3. 3 times Kevin Durant has failed Kyrie. It's not propaganda. This is true video. This is not a deep fake. This is real. But I love that quote from Kyrie, and I appreciate it.
Let's stay with this game. Guys, if I've learned anything this year, it's this. Don't sweat the small stuff and don't over-celebrate the big stuff, right? So a sale on already overpriced almond butter, even-keeled, that's nice. My kids agreeing to watch the same thing at the same time, even-keeled, that's nice. Colin Sexton and the Cavs, midweek, mid-January, regular season game, one of 72 on the schedule, even-keeled afterward. That's nice. Just take it all in. Don't get too excited. They just accept what it is, just a regular win, and we're going to be back at it again Friday night. And that's why I like Colin Sexton. I got a new guy I like every week, as you can tell. All right, let's take a turn. Talk some conference championship weekend. Here we go. For Tom Brady, it's his 14th. For Aaron Rodgers, it is his 5th. And if he wins, well, it's been a minute since we've seen him in the big game. 10 years since his one and only lone Super Bowl appearance. So is Aaron Rodgers feeling any pressure to get the pack back? Why don't we just ask him?
No, I think no more pressure than usual. I think a lot of times, storylines and pressure and those kind of comments are, good stuff for you guys to write about. But I think it starts with the mentality and the focus. Obviously, I put pressure on myself to perform every single week. And I think there's a lot to be said for being able to harness that pressure and the fear of failure and focus it to, real positive. And that's something you learn over the years. But I don't feel any extra pressure going on this week.
I mean, speaking of even-keeled, have you ever seen anyone more laid back before their conference game? Nick, who's got more to gain with a win on Sunday? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, unquestionably. More to gain is Rodgers. Brady is at the top of the mountaintop. At the top of the mountaintop. You guys understand what I'm saying? Brady is the unquestioned, most accomplished, greatest quarterback ever. And I think Right now, if you did some type of poll, who's the greatest football player ever, I don't know if Brady would get a majority, but I bet he'd get a plurality over Jerry Rice. So it's all gravy at this point. We were just talking hoops and Kevin Durant. This is who has more to gain this year by a championship, LeBron James or Kevin Durant? It's unquestionably Kevin Durant because he's still trying to pass all-time greats. That's where Rodgers is. Rodgers right now, think about the quarterbacks we discuss in line with Rodgers. Brady, he's been to 9 Super Bowls, won 6. Peyton, he went to 4, won 2. Montana went to 4, won 4. Elway went to 5, won 2. Rodgers has only been to 1. So even if they lose in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, he gains a lot just by getting to another one. Because while he's not branded on that list of Dan Marino, greatest to never win one, he right now has been to the same number of Super Bowls as Steve Young. And Steve Young's an all-timer. But Aaron Rodgers is better than him. And Aaron Rodgers needs another Super Bowl appearance. He can't go a decade without it. And so I think there is, to me, there's a very simple question. Rodgers has more to gain than anyone remaining except for Josh Allen. I think Rodgers certainly has more to gain than Tom Brady.
I don't think it's that simple, Nick. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, man, they underachieve. They botched this dude's career, man. When you look at the all-time greats, brutal, and you look at their hands, you see multiple rings. Look at Joe Montana. Look at Tom Brady. You see multiple. This dude is 37 years old. You look down and you see 1. This is it. He's not going to go to another Super Bowl, okay? So it's close, but I don't think there's much he can do to cement his legacy. His legacy is what it is. They should have had 3 or 4 Super Bowl titles in Green Bay with this guy. They didn't. To me, it's Tom Brady. And the reason why it's Tom Brady is because there's that question out there, who's the GOAT? Who was the reason why? Is it Bill Belichick or is it Tom Brady? They were together, damn near 20 years doing this. Amazing run. We'll never see this again. So now Tom Brady goes in there at 43, wins another Super Bowl. Whoo! Now, Nick, we're not talking about the greatest football player. We're talking about the greatest athlete ever, potentially, Kevin.
Yeah, so I totally agree on the Belichick thing. I think that there's 3 people that Tom Brady can separate himself from, and one of them is Bill Belichick. Because you know, your old buddy KW is a Belichick guy. Old Tom Brady was the beneficiary of the #1 defense, and Tom Brady, God knows Bruce Arians lets him coach, but he didn't call for Malcolm Butler to intercept the ball at the goal line. That was old Bill Belichick. So I feel like I've always been a Belichick guy, but if he gets to the Super Bowl, he doesn't even need to win, Nick. If he gets to the Super Bowl, it's harder for me to make that argument. The other one, near and dear to your heart, from the city with the most fountains in all of North America, Kansas City, Joe Montana. Joe Montana, 49er, goes to Kansas City. Do we really talk about that much? Not really. He went to the AFC Championship, didn't win. If he went to the Super Bowl, I feel like we would remember his Kansas City time totally differently. Last one, another legend, one place, goes somewhere else, has good stats. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan averaged 21 points. Everybody think he stunk. Well, the Wizards stunk. They didn't make the playoffs. He certainly didn't go to the finals. So if Tom Brady can get to the Super Bowl, it doesn't mean to win. I think it's less, Nick, of a GOAT mountain and more like a GOAT sort of like race. That I feel like the race would get wider and wider. Because I buy that he's on the top of GOAT Mountain. But in the GOAT 4x100, I think that he would have a considerable
he could have a Secretariat-style lead. I get it. No, I understand that. So maybe I'm overstating or understating how much Brady has to gain. But I feel like, Brandon, you're dismissing Rodgers because I agree with you. Up to this point, we can say they've squandered his last few years. But if they win the Super Bowl this year, they go into next year as one of the 2 or 3 biggest favorites. That's true. Then all of a sudden you're like, well, if at 37 he wins it, and 38 say he gets to another one. Now we're talking about his chance. Could he have 3 rings? So, like, as soon as if the Packers win this game, and then, you know, by some miracle they're able to beat the Chiefs, and Rodgers sitting there with 2 rings, there's no Rodgers-Favre discussion anymore. There's no Rodgers-Breeze discussion anymore. And what starts is a Rodgers-Peyton Manning discussion. Like, if he wins another one.
But is that even a discussion, though, really?
He moves up to.
But is that a discussion now, Rodgers, Favre, Rodgers, Breeze? Is that even a discussion now? Yeah, we know what Breeze has done in his career, throwing the ball all over the field, breaking so many records. But Aaron Rodgers, man, just a couple years ago, we were saying he can go down as the greatest quarterback ever. And then all of a sudden, you insert Patrick Mahomes, and now we're talking about Patrick Mahomes every single week on these shows.
Sure.
Aaron Rodgers, man, he is already cemented. We already know his place in history. Another Super Bowl is not going to change that. Making the Super Bowl for a 3rd time and losing it is not going to change that. This dude should be sitting here with 4 rings. You got Tom Brady with...
Brady is the unquestioned, most accomplished, greatest quarterback ever. And I think right now, if you did some type of poll, who's the greatest football player ever, I don't know if Brady would get a majority, but I bet he'd get a plurality over Jerry Rice. So it's all gravy at this point. We were just talking hoops and Kevin Durant. This is who has more to gain this year by a champion.